Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Friday edition, the Happy Hour edition. Happy Hour with JP. I think I remember that show.
Yeah, I think you do.
I remember that
show.
Here at the Patio in South Tampa, we got a great crowd here today. I mean, if Scotty Fitz shows up, then we got a crowd. It's a party.
Officially. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Scotty Fitz is here. We've had some celebrities come through that we are not allowed to mention. So I don't know if they're still here, but
kind of changed the camera shot a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't want
to
show.
True story. Yeah.
Any of those folks were very camera shy.
Well, very.
But if you get down here, you probably see them, I would think.
True.
Yeah, because we're pointing back towards the back bar here. Maddie's here. Or did she desert us already? Maddie is here.
I think she did, yeah.
But, yeah, we got a great crowd. They're right over here, but we can't really show them to you right now because okay, Scotty Fitz is on the trail. So we got a great show for you today, though. We got Sal Paolantonio is going to join us from ESPN. So we'll chat with him about last week's game. He was here to interview Baker Mayfield and sit down with Baker. Maybe it was the Sal Pal curse.
I hope not.
He interviewed him before the game. Actually, of course not. Great interview, by the way. I don't know if you haven't seen it.
Well, curse all week long because all the hype was, Baker this, Baker that, the Bucs this, the Bucs that. And then you know what always happens. They have a stinking performance like they had last Sunday versus the Lions.
Yeah, it's a clunker.
Yeah.
As Bowles called it. It was a clunker. No doubt about it. It happens, in this league. And, as I said on Monday, players got to make plays.
Yeah.
You can sit here and we can, talk about schemes and, Dave Canales' scheme is too complex. I don't believe in that narrative. We'll hit on that in just a little bit. You could talk about, different players and what have you. But listen, if the plays are there to be made, and clearly they were down the field, you have open receivers, 2 or 3 yards behind the defense, and the quarterback is overthrowing them or the receivers are stopping at the top of their routes or slowing down or what have you, and you don't complete those passes, that's not on the coach.
No.
And Baker Mayfield took full responsibility for it, said, I sucked, we sucked. They sucked. And, you give the Detroit Lions credit. They're a good football team, by the way. 4th best defense in the league or 2nd best defense against the run. They were a good football team. There's a reason they're 5-1. And Jared Goff was fantastic. So you tip your cap to the Lions, but you also say, we can be better. Let's do some self-scouting. We can be better. The Bucs know that. But there were plays to be made out there. And, sometimes the players have to bear the brunt of the responsibility. Actually, it should be most of the time, to be quite honest. We spend so much time, talking about schemes and different other things and management of games when really so much of it just comes down to how the players perform. Now, you got to put the players in the best position to perform and take advantage of their unique skills. I mean, that's the coach's job. But again, look, even defensively, you look at Ryan Neal on that deep ball. He's in position. You got to make the play.
That's it.
Turn around and make the play. On Amon-Ross St. Brown's touchdown, 4 or 5 guys had a shot at tackling him. They don't make the tackle. That's not the defensive play call. So you tip your cap to the other team, but you also say those are plays that needed to be made that didn't get made. Now I know we're talking, and we had the Dave Canales interview. We might be able to play a little bit more of that today for you guys. And Dave was asked about, is this scheme too complex at this particular point? And here's the deal, folks. If we had a rookie quarterback like a Desmond Ridder or a guy that's, a neophyte in this league and a bunch of young receivers in a new system, I would say, okay, maybe that's an issue. But you've got a lot of veteran players on this offense, especially in the skill positions. Mm-hmm. So, and Dave answered that question this week, and he said, no, you got to have answers for what defenses are going to throw at you. If you dumb it down and they throw a couple of different wrinkles at you defensively and you don't have the answer ready to go, in other words, if you dumb down your offense and you don't have an answer for this particular blitz package or this particular coverage or this particular exotic, then you're screwed. Whereas if you demand more of your players and say, this is what we're going to do when they do X, we do X, we do Y.
Mm-hmm.
That's efficient offense. And look, remember, this offense is 5 games in. We're 5 games in. So we knew it was going to be a work in progress. So let's not dumb it down and become a worse football team for the immediate moment.
Agree.
Let's go forward with the full package and develop it as the years go on. It's a 17-game season, and the games at the end of the year are just as important as the beginning of the year.
Well, I think it comes down to this offense and what Baker said. When did they get pissed off? When does this offense get pissed off? When does this team get pissed off? When did they come out and establish this run game that we heard about all offseason?
Yes.
When did they get more physical? Because they had the opportunity this week to get physical against the Falcons, who were giving up 99 yards a game of rushing. So, do they want it? Do they want to win the NFC South? The Saints last night lost, so there's an opportunity here. And look, the Falcons are definitely a beatable team, especially with my favorite quarterback at the helm, Desmond Ridder, who's completely and absolutely awful for that team, and I'm not surprised by it. So this Bucs defense needs to come out. They need to smack him in the mouth. They need to get after Ridder. They need to cause turnovers, and they need to get pissed off on offense.
Yeah, I mean, pissed off will help them in the run game. They need to move some people.
Yeah.
I mentioned that earlier. Are they willing to start looking at personnel? Because there are people that they can move in the interior of that line. Matt Filer, the left guard that they brought in, who did not measure out well on PFF last year, has not been good. He's not graded out well this year. Hainsey is not. He seems to have regressed for some reason. Cody Mauch is a rookie right guard, and he is. I mean, you can understand they're trying to grow him and make him into a player, and that's going to take time to develop him. But right now, is Aaron Stinney a better answer there? A guy that's gone through a playoff run, a Super Bowl run, and performed really, really well.
Nick Leverett, is that the answer? What about the running back situation?
If I'm the Buccaneers, Nick Leverett's a young player too.
Right.
I would put him in at left guard. It ain't going to be worse than what Filer's doing right now. Nick Leverett graded out pretty well last year, and maybe he works better with Hainsey because they've worked well together in the past. So, but are the coaches willing to make these changes? I don't know. We'll see.
They didn't make the adjustments last week, and I think that was probably the disappointing thing because no adjustments in that second half. You were in the game. I get it. It's easy to say the Lions are a better team, and they're one of the NFC darlings right now. But if you want to be one of those top upper echelon teams, you got to play a lot better than that. You got to give your full effort the whole game, and it starts there.
Well, when you look at this Falcons team, and we had Sandra Golden on the morning show this morning from 92.9 The Game, been covering the Falcons for 20 years.
Right.
And I asked her about Desmond Ridder, and she said, Desmond's had some good moments and some bad moments, but she said, it's not just about Desmond Ridder, it's about Arthur Smith. And there's a feeling in Atlanta that offense is a little bit too complicated because they have a rookie quarterback in essence. He only started, 5 games last year?
Sure.
So, yeah, he's still very much a rookie quarterback, and he's not used to a lot of different things that he's seeing in the NFL. That's not Baker Mayfield. So I think the narrative might work in Atlanta, but it doesn't really work here in Tampa Bay, in my opinion.
No.
So he comes in here after a dreadful fourth quarter that also included some mishaps by the coach as well, as they had a couple of delay penalties. So much so that I didn't know this, but Arthur Blank, who does a intermittent radio show, the owner of the Falcons, came on and said, we weren't very how did she put it, very tight from a business standpoint. We didn't handle our business very well.
So he's talking like he's running Home Depot again.
If you're running Home Depot, it's like we weren't buttoned up,
right?
From a business standpoint.
No,
and that's true. If you're in the fourth quarter and you're trying to get a play in, and it's not getting translated to the quarterback in those situations, yeah, that's on the coach. So the bottom line is they're having some issues offensively right now. They've got some players. You got Drake London, you got Bijan Robinson, you got Kyle Pitts. They're starting to get these guys involved a little bit. These are high-level talents, but you still have a quarterback that is just not getting it done in crunch time. So this is an opportunity for the Bucs to go out and get a crucial win. I mean, we can't underscore enough how important this win is. From 3-2 to 4-2, having a 2-game lead in the division still with 2 games left to play against woeful Carolina.
Oh, yeah, they're
a
terrible.
home game left against the Saints, and then a road game left against Atlanta, and some other very winnable games on the schedule. This is, to me, is the biggest game of the season so far.
And you got a quick turnaround against the Buffalo Bills, which you go on the road, so you got to win
I've heard
this.
a lot of people talking about that. There's questions in press conferences about the Bills. Why are we talking about next week? Like, why? Like, what are we doing?
Well, I know.
Why is anybody at Leo Haggerty?
Yes.
Why is anybody asking questions about next week? And Leo's like, I know you're not thinking about next week. Then don't ask the question. No, we're not thinking about next week. We're thinking about this week.
It's a great question, though, by the legend himself, Leo Haggerty. Gotta love that.
It is.
Gotta love that. But
I mean, come on. We're focused on this week, Leo. Come on. No, so, yeah, this is a great opportunity. Look, the Bucs are favored in this game. Getting the running game is not easy. The Falcons, I believe, are fourth in the league against the run. I mean, Grady Jarrett has been a pain in our ass forever.
Yep.
Calais Campbell's a mountain of a human being.
Ageless wonder. Just continues to get it done at what is he, 36, 37 now? Still
like
continues.
107, I think.
I feel like it. I feel like there's a lot of Bucs fans out there that wanted Campbell at some point.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Onyemata, they got him from the Saints, who's always another guy that's been a pain in our ass.
Yep.
It doesn't get easier for this offensive line this week. It does not. This Falcons defense is legit. So the Bucs are going to have to come out. They're going to have to execute. Baker's got to be better. Everybody's got to be better. Mike Evans has to stop dropping footballs. And they just got to execute better. And the running backs need to find.
If he wants to be paid like a $22 million wide receiver, he's got to step up. And I'm not a Mike Evans hater. Yeah, I think. I'm not a Mike Evans hater. But
we love Mike.
You got to start proving yourself. And we all know how important he is to this offense. He's got to catch those passes at critical times. And Baker's got to complete those. You had lots of plays on the field where you left points off the board there, which it could have been a lot different. And then I look at another matchup in this game, JP, the offensive line of the Atlanta Falcons, giving up 19 sacks already. Where's your defensive line? Where's Shaq Barrett? Where's Vita Vea? Where is JTS? Where's Yaya Diaby? Where's Devin White? And where's Levante David? You guys all need to stand up because you need to cause those turnovers, get after the quarterback at the end of the day, especially. And then you look at the Bucs offensive line. We've been critical about what they do when it comes to the run game. Only 5 sacks so far, number 1 in the National Football League. So they've done their part when it comes to pass protection. Of course, it comes down to the run. But going back to it, the defense has an opportunity this week to really stand out and get after Ritter.
We talked a little bit about offensive personnel, and it's on defense you can rotate guys in a little bit more, right? Offensive line, you're not necessarily gonna willy-nilly substitute guys, but I would make a change. I would make changes on that offensive line right now because the guys on the interior are not getting the job done, and you have other guys that might be better. I would do that if I'm the offensive coaching staff, just to try to get something going in the run game. Defensively, I want to see more Yaya Diaby. I think he's a better physical presence. I think he's learning. Obviously, he's very raw, but he has a much higher ceiling than JTS.
Agree.
He needs to get more snaps. We looked at the snap count last week. I think he had like 30-some%. He needs to get more. I want to see Kendall Gill get more snaps. Kendall Gill's another guy. Every time he gets into game, he makes plays.
Kendall Gill was the basketball player.
Sorry.
That's all right. I got you.
Cam Gill, every time he gets in, he makes plays.
Right.
I want to see Cam Gill get more snaps. I want to see Yaya Diaby get more snaps. And I want to see D. Delaney get more snaps. I know you brought in Ryan Neal to be that guy, but he doesn't make plays. He's too soft in his own coverage. The middle of the field issues that we had last game where I think a lot of Ryan Neal, the deep ball, that was on him. D. Delaney makes those plays.
I agree.
D. Delaney turns that touchdown into an interception or at least a PBU.
Yeah. That's
a big play in the game.
Neal looked lost in the sauce.
He did.
To add an old Marine Corps boot camp statement.
Lost in the sauce.
Lost
I like
in the
that.
Sauce, yes.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Sounds like Scotty Fitz at the Sphere in Vegas. Lost in the sauce.
Right, so I think there's a lot of people lost in the sauce in Vegas at this point.
A lot of people lost in the sauce here at the patio.
No,
come on down. $4 White Claws.
Yeah.
Vodkas, the whole deal.
You asked me if there was some breaking news. There is some breaking news coming over from ESPN. This was reported earlier. Have you heard about this Michigan? Because we talk college football on this program. Connor Stallions has been suspended as a football analyst. for sign stealing.
Shenanigans.
Is this a big deal to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Because at first I thought it was just sign stealing. But
Okay.
then I learned it's the more Belichickian version of sign stealing.
Oh, Spygate going on.
Yeah. So they're evidently Michigan is advanced scouting, sending coaches and camera crews ahead of time to film the sideline of the opposing team and their signals, and then you match them up with their defense, and then you steal their signals.
So when somebody said that Michigan actually knew what Ohio State was going to do every play, maybe there was something to that. Maybe there's a reason why Michigan dominated Ohio State in the first place. And, by the way, it has not necessarily been the best year for Michigan's program, especially Jim Harbaugh. No matter what they do at this point, is college football basically trying to kick him out of college right now and get him to the NFL? I got a perfect place for you.
I don't
the
think
Chicago
college football
Bears
is doing anything. These are things that he's doing.
Yeah.
First of all, the NCAA stuff is just ridiculous. I mean, recruiting violations during COVID. I mean, did anybody even know what the rules were? I mean, what are violations now with NIL? Come on, it was just ridiculous, it's stupid.
Yeah.
But this is something that and it's kind of on the honor system. Any team can do this. Any team can send somebody to an advanced. You want to go to a Rutgers game, or hell, you could do it from the freaking stands.
Mm-hmm.
Literally take an iPhone from the stands and just collect the data of the signs of another team.
Write it down, by the way.
Yeah, write it down, and and then you match it up with the tape, so you know exactly what their signals are.
Right.
Now, there's different ways of doing signals. And you put up 3 different signals during a game, and the team, only at that particular time do you know which one is but you could still kind of figure it out. From the first signal of that series, you can figure out what's going on. You can match it up right away, so you're ready to go. These are things that can be done, and the advanced scouting is illegal. Trying to steal signs during a game, that's fine. That's fair play. But if you're sending out camera crews and doing these things, and evidently this particular guy is like ex-military.
I think Marine Corps.
Yeah,
it's funny.
And they got his computer now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that went on with the Patriots, and in my opinion, for years and years and years. And God is my witness, I've said this many times. The Patriots have always been an outlier. Mm-hmm. They've always been an outlier. And I swear to God, we're going to find out, come hell or high water, that they were cheating. Because they've been caught. They were caught a few times.
Right.
And where there's smoke, there's fire. And where there's fire, there's big fire. And they've always been an out. How were they able to do it for so many years? Blah, 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 blah. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick suddenly isn't such a great coach without Tom Brady.
Oh, amazing how that works out.
Is Brady going to spill the beans on this? Probably not. But eventually it will come out. And that's exactly what Michigan is doing. So that's some bull crap. What's interesting now is you have a human element. The human element in the playoff is the committee. Now, the committee can take a lot of things into consideration. And I'm telling you, when it comes down to this year's playoff, there's going to be some really, really hard decisions between one-loss teams, a lot of, or maybe even undefeated teams.
Right.
But there's going to be a lot of hard decisions about which teams are going to get. There may be as many as 8 or 9 deserving one-loss teams, and you got to pick 4. How are you going to differentiate, right? And if Michigan is one of those one-loss teams, or maybe they're the only, because they only have, I think, 2 actual games to play in their whole schedule, which would be Ohio State and the Big Ten championship game, which might be against freaking Iowa, and that won't even count either.
Right.
So, I mean, if they have 1 or 2 games that they play, everybody else is a freaking cupcake. And by the way, it doesn't have to be that way. They can schedule actual teams in their non-conference, which they never do. So if they're sitting there undefeated and they have this cloud over their head, I say if I'm on the committee, and they won't say it publicly, they won't say they're doing this, but if I'm on the committee, I'm like, F them. They're cheating with this kind of stuff. If this is all proven, and can the NCAA do anything? Who knows? Who cares? They're feckless. But the committee can do something.
Right.
They don't have to say it publicly, but they can say,
well, they're too busy. They're too busy on Capitol Hill.
Michigan doesn't make the playoff over some one-loss teams, I think we'll know that it was taken into consideration.
Exactly.
And their schedule, their crap off out of conference schedule should be taken into consideration. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all pans out. But I think it will, because there is a human element to this. I think it will be considered, whether they say it publicly or not.
Well, they're too busy on Capitol Hill right now trying to stop a bunch of kids making money. That's their biggest concern. So I guess you look at these allegations. Is it really that big of a deal to you? Because I'm listening to Wilbon yesterday from Pardon the Interruption. He's saying it's not really a big deal to him.
I think we all thought it was just sign stealing during a game.
Right.
But now I think more information has come out. See, you got to get all the information.
Well, that's it.
You got to get all the information.
It's not always about being
you can't just
first.
go with the first report.
Correct.
Because sometimes that first report, 500, is not accurate. And things can happen. So let's get all the information first and then understand what's going on.
Agree.
And if they're sending out video teams 2 and 3 games ahead of time and electronically stealing the signs, that is by code illegal.
That's
that is against the rules. You can't do that.
Yeah,
you can do it during the game, but you can't send out advanced scouting teams with video equipment. And that's electronic surveillance, and that is not allowed. No. So, they should be sanctioned. And how long has this been going on?
I have no
Bill
idea.
Belichick. How long has this been going on?
Right.
Well, I want to know.
And that program, the last couple of years with their success, is it just recruiting, or once again, do they have an advantage? And it certainly seems like they have some type of advantage. By the way, wind me up. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 on the JP Peterson Show. Open phone lines if you want to talk about this situation.
You have any comments coming in?
We do have some comments. Absolutely. Afternoon, guy, says Christopher Cole. Jeremy Iron says, I'm excited for Cansey on Sunday. I mean,
me too.
That was a bright spot. And
Me
you
too.
see how he played. And first time, you look at this week, the Bucs are relatively healthy. Cansey's going to get better. He was good last Sunday in his limited, spots there.
Really good.
He's only going to get better from here. So I think that's definitely a positive going forward here. And I feel like, you look at him and what he can do overall as a player, getting after the quarterback and everything else. Man, that's the reason why you drafted him in the first place. That's
absolutely.
the reason why.
100%.
So, all right, let's go out to Larry Frank, who has his own show out there. Congratulations on.
What's up, Larry?
Yep. They need to go to headsets on the quarterback's helmet like the NFL. What do you say about that?
Yeah. I mean, that keeps the sign stealing at a minimum.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You have the technology. It's in all the stadiums. Go ahead and do it.
All right. And Jeremy says for your
NFL can pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. For your fantasy football nerds out there, just like you, Godwin owns the Falcons. So is that a guy? See, I think this is a Mike Evans game. I think this is where Mike Evans steps up over Chris Godwin. I do. I think he's going to show out. He's got to show out. He needs a new contract. If he wants a contract extension, he's got to show out. He's got to be all-pro Mike Evans.
They didn't want it last week? A couple weeks ago?
I don't know.
I think he's gripping.
Maybe.
I think he's gripping.
Maybe he's reaching.
I think he's just there's anxiety that he doesn't have a contract extension, which is weird because the Bucs love him. They're going to keep him. It's a matter of, are you going to get, $75 million guaranteed, $40 million guaranteed, $50 million guaranteed? You've already made $110 million. I mean, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, he's going to be.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
I
I can't figure it out, but he's got a chip on his shoulder. He seems like he's different.
Why?
Maybe he's not.
I don't. We have really lost perspective in this country and in sports especially.
Yeah.
We've lost perspective, man. I mean, a lot of these guys that are like, for God's sakes, James Harden and many of these professional athletes that, how much is enough? You don't want to work here. You don't want to work there. I didn't get a contract extension. It's affecting my play. Really? Is it?
Fat James Harden, by the way.
So you're going to get, you're going to get, and I don't mean to pick on Mike Evans in this way because Mike's not a diva. Mm-hmm. Mike's not a guy who ever thought about money, ever talked about money. But I guess it's real.
His drops are up this year.
It's 9.8%.
I mean,
you think?
Right.
I mean, what is that? Is that because of the contract? I mean, I can't. Again, I'm not picking on Mike. It's just, how can you lose perspective in this way? It's not like you're going from $25 million to zero.
Right.
Like, you're going to be paid money, and a lot of money. It's just a matter of how much exorbitantly you're going to be paid.
Listen, if he continues to play like this, the market will set itself, because there's
Right.
not anybody that's going to. So, Jason Light, Mike Greenberg, they do a great job when it comes to numbers and, doing contracts. So they may do the same thing of what they did with Levante David and Jamel Dean. And if you let him go out there to that market and that market doesn't give him what he's looking for, the Bucs may win out any way it goes. I tell you what, we got a special guest coming on here.
We do, don't we?
Yeah, J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated, who, he's actually also doing a podcast called The Sick Podcast. He's had like Dave Canales on. He's had like Christian Itzian. I mean, this guy right here is just killing it.
He's
let me
connected.
go ahead. Yeah, let me go ahead and
he's well connected.
get him on here. J.C.
He's like
Allen.
Lego.
What's going on, buddy?
We're gonna start calling you Lego because you're well connected, brother.
How you doing, guys?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So we had this discussion on Mike Evans. The drop rate is off the charts. That's terrible, and it's not only that. It's like sometimes the body language in the game. I mean, you get your target percentage has to be way higher than it is right now for him. How he and Baker Mayfield are not on the same page, it's just got to be better. I mean, and I said this: if the Bucs are going to do anything, JC, the guys that are getting paid, those top 7 to 8 guys, they need to start producing. Only a couple of them are, and he's not one of them, to be quite honest. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I actually had Canales on the podcast that you guys mentioned, and he kind of talked about that. The upside to splitting those reps during training camp, and seeing what you had in Trask and seeing let the best man win is, you got both of these guys who are prepared. It's a strong quarterback room, and you know which guy is the better guy. The downside is all the reps they missed. And he said pretty much, that's what they're doing now. They're making up those reps in the season that could have had throughout training camp. So the chemistry will come. I don't think this is going to be a season-long issue. I think more so it's been, Mike has dropped those balls a lot of the times. And when you look at this offense too, the thing is, fans need to remember that this isn't Bruce Arians' no risk it, no biscuit offense. These deep shots aren't going to be there all the time. It's going to be an efficient.
Drop an F-bomb here, don't we?
It's going to be an efficiency-based offense. So they're going to take those 7-yard shots. They're going to take those 4-yard pickups over those deep balls sometimes. It's just how it's going to happen. It's just how the offense is going to roll. The offense, first read, second read, Evans and Godwin, if they're not there right away and you have Cade Otton or you have Trey Palmer or DT or one of these other guys there for an easy 7-yard completion, they're going to take that. Doesn't matter if that route is developing down the line and you look at that, rewatch the game film, and you're like, well, Mike Evans is wide open. Well, Mike Evans wasn't wide open at that time. DT was for a 7-yard gain. The efficient play is to take the 7-yard gain and move forward and move the chains that way. So, it's going to take some time for fans to realize that. It's going to take some time for this offense to continue to find its rhythm and its mojo. Obviously, not having a run game is a huge part of it. The mid-zone, wide zone benefits the players on the roster, the offensive linemen. It suits them very well. It's just they're still trying to get all the scheme down and everything like that. It's Canales said, again, to go back to it, he said, even in Seattle, it took them half a year, to kind of get this scheme down, the run blocking scheme. And that's why we've seen them go back to some duo, some gap, some power, because it's what they've been familiar with because they've been running it the last couple of years. So, as soon as they get the run scheme down, as soon as that chemistry starts to flow together, we've seen what it can look like in numerous points. They still haven't had a signature game out there where, this is what the offense looks like and can look like at a high functioning level. That's going to come with time. I don't think it's time to hit the panic button yet for Bucs fans. The Lions game was always going to be a difficult game. If you rewatch the tape, they could have won that game or at least been a little bit closer. They were closer at halftime. Same thing with the Eagles game. Close at halftime. They had opportunities. It's a new offense, new system. a bunch of guys learning how to play and gel with each other. I know it'll take some time, but they should be there. Good news is they really only have 2 juggernauts left, and the Bills next week, and then San Francisco, and the rest of these teams that they play are all teams that either match up or they should beat or could beat.
JC, do you see this matchup against the Falcons where they can get this running game started because the Falcons coming in, giving up 99 yards of rushing? Could this be a matchup where it favors the Bucs this week?
Right, you say 99 yards of rushing like it's any, but that's actually good for 11th in the league, 11th best in the league. They've been pretty good with Ryan Nielsen coming over from the Saints, adding to that room with Grady Jarrett. We all know what he can do, but adding Calais Campbell and David Onyemata to that line. They got Caden Ellis, who's an underrated linebacker for them, who leads the team in tackles right now. And their safeties can come up and cornerbacks can come up and tackle too. So I wouldn't say this is the game to get the running game started, but this is a game where you take your opportunities and you continue to pound it. There's going to be balance there, and I know everyone is almost sick of hearing that word, balance. But if you look along the interwebs, it's not although the running game isn't at the same level of success, which isn't anything last year with Byron. There's more optimism around this team and Dave Canales to fix it. And I think that's the thing. And, he's going to put the players in the possessed position. I don't think Rashad White's played his best football. He'll tell you that. While the offensive line has been near dominant in pass protection, they have really struggled in run blocking, and that's part of the new system, new scheme, a bunch of new players. Everyone's playing next to somebody new. Everybody on that line. There's nobody who's playing next to someone that they played next to last year. So that chemistry, that camaraderie will gel. They did a great job picking their 5 and rolling with it all through camp. But still, it's a difficult system. But once they get it down, I think the run game is going to be rolling.
What do you see more with this team? Is it the offensive line, especially the interior, or is it the running backs and their vision, in your opinion?
I think it's both. I think it's equally hand in hand. I think, play calling kind of has a way to do with that. They're going to be an in-between the tackles team. So anyone calling for tosses and cracks and sweeps and stuff like that, that's not.
How about new guards?
That's right. That's a feast or famine type situation where you're either going for 2 yards, 3 yards, negative yards, or sometimes you break that 70 yard. It's not what they're going to do. They're going to be in between the tackles, in between the gaps, and it's up to the running backs to locate, have patience, and hit those gaps. And that's something they've struggled with. Every single week so far, these running backs have left meat on the bones by either missing gaps, being too eager, being too late. So they definitely, there's definitely a burden of blame on them as well. But the getting off blocks, climbing to the next level to take out those linebackers and take out those defenders has been an issue too, especially for the interior of the line, to allow them to have those big runs, right? We've seen the 3 yard runs every week, 3 yard gain. That's fine. That moves the chains, puts you in a, if you run for 3 yards back-to-back downs, it puts you in a 3rd and 4, very manageable situation.
Very good, yeah.
But we haven't seen those 10, 15, 20, 30-yard runs. And that part of that onus is through the running backs with their vision. Part of that onus is just on the offensive lineman not being able to stay in blocks, not being able to pass off blocks, get to the next level, take out that next guy, so they have those running lanes to go. So it bears the blame. And then, play calling too. Dave's going to be the first person to tell you he's got to call it better. He tells you every week, and there's some play calls, first down runs again. I feel like we're in a timeline here. In the time loop here, there's some situations where again you want to establish the run, you want to keep these guys honest. You want to help set up play action, right? Because you don't need a successful run game, but you do need to at least have a threat of a run game in order for play action to be really successful. And they do it at such a high clip. So that's another thing too. He's got to coach it better, call it better. They got to execute better, and that's really been the biggest thing though, is execution in this interior line and specifically with the running backs.
All right, JC Allett joining us here. Sports Illustrated covers the Bucs. Had Dave Canales on his podcast this past week. So there was a line of questioning. You were there in the Canales interview where this narrative that the offense is too complex. They're trying to do too many things. That's what's holding them back. I don't buy that for a second. With an experienced quarterback like Baker Mayfield, this is what they should aspire to, because you have to have answers. And I thought Dave gave a tremendous answer to this question. I think you do have to have different answers when you have to be prepared in a game situation when they're throwing different coverages and different exotics at you. You got to have an answer for it. And if you dumb everything down, you don't have an answer for those things. So, what is your take on this narrative that the offense that Canales is trying to do too much and the offense is too complex?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the core philosophy of this offense is line the guys up, right, and make it look like one thing, but you can run anything out of it.
Right.
And that I don't think that's complex at all. I think that, you know,
that's the standard in the NFL right now.
Right.
It's the best offense.
It's just going to take some time, you know, and if you listen to, you know, not to toot, but listen to me or listen to you guys, we talked about this all summer. The defense is going to have to, you know, kind of carry this team a little bit while the offense clicks. The bye week came at a good time, so that they can kind of go back, self-scout, and take a look at what they need to do, what they need to improve. Detroit was a good team, guys. Like, Detroit is not the Lions of yesteryear. They're a good team. They're
well defense too.
Yep. Right, and they got players at every level in the defense. So, like that was a game that I had circled as a loss. You know, I had that as a loss. I had Eagles as a loss. I had the Saints as a loss before Derek Carr and the offensive line for them decided to go on vacation for the first, you know, part of the season. You know, I had 3 straight losses coming out of this, and you know they surprised me. I my weekly pick, I picked them to beat the Saints, but you know, it was one of these games where it was always going to be a tough matchup. And the Creamsicles, it feels good, right? It looks good. It's so cool. They're back from 2012. It was always going to be a tough moment. Now, did they match up well in certain aspects? I think they did. But that doesn't mean that, you know, it automatically – we still got to execute on the field. And,
exactly.
You know, I think some of the things that they're doing, you know, you're starting to see a little bit more of the screen game going. You're starting to see a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, like Canal said, you know, this is not a deep shot offense. You know, they're not there yet. They have tons of them built in, but they're still going through and still learning the system, learning the scheme. And I know people are like, how can you still be learning the system and the scheme, you know, going into week 7 of the year? Like, shouldn't you know that already? And yes, so, you know, to an extent, they are comfortable. They know the system, they know the scheme, but there's different wrinkles, different things, different ways to execute against different opponents. This is not your vanilla bland last year, you know, go out there and beat your man and that's it. You know, if you can't beat your man, then we're not going to – there's adjustments happening in real time, in game. You see those adjustments happening. It's just execution was their Achilles heel this past week. Execution was their Achilles heel against the Eagles. Guess what? They executed better than the other team in their other 3 games, and they won them. They're 3-2. The sky isn't falling. It's not the end of the world. They have a pretty good opponent with Atlanta, who, you know, Atlanta's defense is legit. Like, they're 4th in yards allowed, 4th in passing yards allowed. We mentioned 11th in receiving yards, in rushing yards allowed, 14th in points allowed. This is a good defense that they're going to have to play against. You know, fortunately for them, that offense is trash. So with Devin Ritter, it's not trash, but it's not great. You know,
they're turning the ball over.
No, you were right. It was trash.
The Falcons are -7 in turnover differential. I think.
Right. They still got a top 10 rushing offense. You know, and you got to prepare for that. They're middle of the road everywhere else. But Desmond Ritter's the ultimate wild card, and if Foles can continue to get pressure on him and make him make mistakes, and this is a game they should win. But I don't think this is a game where you look at the offense versus the Falcons defense. This isn't the Falcons defense of yesteryear. They invested a lot of money in this defense. They went out and got Bud Dupree, David Onyemata, Calais Campbell. Jesse Bates has had 3 interceptions on the season already for them. They have Jeff Okudah they traded for, who's looking like the number 3 overall pick in the draft. He's had 2 really good back-to-back games there. So this isn't – I wouldn't even say this is the offense's get-right game. Certainly not against Buffalo. I don't know when then they have Houston Texans after that, whose defenses look pretty good too. So, you know, I don't know when their statement game is going to come. I don't know when that everything is going to click on offense, and it could be like this, a work in progress until later in the year, until they maybe get an inferior opponent, someone like
it's got to be good enough to win the game, and that's
but it can be
situational offense. Will they roll up 500 yards this week? Probably not, but you can go out and score 27 points. You can do that against this Falcons defense. They're good. They're not fantastic. They have issues in the back end. But you got to execute. You got to have a good game plan. What are you attacking? Where are you attacking? These are all things that and I've said this many times. And Sal Powell, who's we're going to have on the show here in just a little bit, he said this. Come week 6, week 7, this is when the elite coaches take over. Everybody's got tape now, right? Everybody knows what you're trying to do. Everybody knows what your strengths are. Everybody knows what your weaknesses are. So if you're not playing the chess game, if you're not one step ahead, if you're not saying, okay, I looked at my own tape, I know where they're going this week. Like I know they're attacking Jamel Dean. I know they're going to go after Devin White in coverage. They're going to go after Devin White in the run game. I know exactly where they're going. How am I going to counter that in the offensive game plan? They know we're having trouble running the football in these particular ways. How are we going to counter that now? Do something different. So this is where elite coaching, the cream rises to the top. And can the Bucs make the requisite adjustments with their veteran players to make those adjustments? And I think we're going to start seeing that moving forward. This is not – I wouldn't look at this coaching staff of Atlanta, Arthur Smith. They're under fire. It was a clown show in the fourth quarter this past week with the late game and a lot of different things. So I don't have a lot of confidence that Atlanta's going to come in here and outcoach the Buccaneers. But these game plans, these adjustments are going to start to be a very huge part of these games. And we're going to see what the Bucs do in this particular game and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Evans has got to be a big part of this game. He's had success against A.J. Terrell in the past. I think he's going to be a big part of it. I think you can exploit the matchups against some of those linebackers they have. I like Caden Ellis, but I think you can exploit him there. They've got decent playmakers. Richie Grant is pretty good. Jesse Bates he's playing at a top tier level right now. It's going to be difficult for them to get the run game going again. I really do think, especially up the middle. Like if you're trying to do that in between up the middle runs with Animata, Grady Jarrett, and Calais Campbell, you're going to have some trouble. But
JC, let me ask you this, because this comes down to coaching too. At this point, I'm ready to fire Filer. I'm ready to fire Cody Mauch. At least is a rookie, so I know they're trying to develop him. But the guard play and the center play, frankly, but you're not taking Hainsey out. I would see what Nick Leverett could do. I would see what Aaron Stenney can do, because the two guards are just not playing well. The tackles are playing well. The guards are playing well in pass pro. That's okay. Right. But they got to get this run game going. Would you make some moves up front at some point?
I wouldn't at this point, because if they do give you better run blocking, it's not going to be significant. And there's a significant drop off in pass protection, I think, with Stinney or with Filer. I know everyone looks at Stinney and says, "Oh, he started 3 games, including the Super Bowl for us," but he just hasn't been the same player since he got injured. There's a reason, he's stuck around, and he's the first guard off the bench over Leverett, which was interesting to find out.
I don't get that.
But I don't think it's a situation where you make that move now.
You're not going to find a new running back. We've heard that. You're not going to change the offensive line.
So no Derrick Henry, no Rashard Penny, nobody like that, huh?
I don't think so. Javonte Williams would be beautiful. I would love that move, but it depends on Denver's, putting out a fire sale. We'll find that out. The thing is, the Bucs have
making moves. I got to get a new running back. I got to put somebody new in the mix. I'm not giving up a lot. I'm not giving up I'm not giving up a 3rd round pick, but I can go find a Rashad Penny or somebody that's buried on the roster to give these guys a different look and maybe light a fire under somebody's ass.
I think that's more of a possibility after the Buffalo game, because right after the Buffalo game is the trade deadline.
And the mini bye.
2 weeks after their for real bye. I mean, that's just such a terrible placement by the league for them. But maybe if the running game continues to struggle and it's obviously the running backs are still one of the big culprits, then maybe you bring someone else in there and not to maybe be a starter, but to light their fire under some of these guys and say, hey, I mean, we've got another guy in here now.
Let's go.
Put up or shut up,
how disappointed are you with the secondary play? Because you paid Jamel Dean in the offseason. You paid Carlton Davis high amount here. Ryan Nail comes in. Pro Football Focus's #1 safety last year. Antoine Winfield Jr., he's definitely done a good job. You just interviewed Christian Peterson. But how disappointed have you been by this secondary?
It's, to me, yeah, I think Jamel had a rough start. I think he bounced back last week. I think Carlton, obviously missing games stunk, but but he's been good since he came back. Ryan Neal's had a difficult time, but Bowles is out. To me, it's more indicative of the coaching than it is the actual players, because I think Ryan Neal, he's been asked to play free safety a lot more. His best game is in the box. That's where I think he shines. So having him play that more back of he's going to get beat, and he's gotten beat. It's infuriating because Bowles plays these zone matchups and zone coverages when he's got probably two of the best press man corners in the league.
I don't get that.
Davis and Jamel Dean. They played, I think, 6 snaps in true man coverage against the Lions. It makes zero sense to me.
These guys are running wide open in the middle. I mean, what do we?
Next time I talk to him, I got to bring that up because you literally have two of the best cornerbacks.
I said this all week long.
And you put him in zone.
Well, you paying a guy $17 million a year to play zone. You could get, some 5th-round pick to do that stuff. I mean, you're paying these guys to play man coverage. Let's play man coverage.
It's
Let's
like
go.
having Darrell Revis again and playing him in zone with Greg Schiano. It makes no sense at all. None.
All right. So, I think that's been more the Achilles heel. They've still been pretty good with limiting explosive plays. Obviously, they had the Jameson Williams and they had a few, the Jordan Addison earlier in the year, but, they've still done a pretty good job of limiting explosive plays. A lot of the explosive plays that came in that Eagles game were yards after catch. They weren't, big gains down the field. So that's I don't know. I get the philosophy, you want to limit explosive plays, keep everything in front of you. But at the same time, on the defensive side, it should be a little bit more no risk it, no biscuit, because you've got guys who can play, man. If they get beat, then so be it, right? But you've got guys who have proven consistently that they can shut down some of the top wide receivers in the league with their coverage ability. And instead, you just got them out there on an island playing zone. It doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, JC, tell everybody how they can get your all your content, my friend.
Absolutely. You guys can follow me on Twitter at JCAllenNFL, your one-stop shop for all Bucks news. You can find all my work over at Bucks Game Days, powered by Sports Illustrated. And check out my latest podcast, my newest podcast called Pirate Parlay on the Sick Podcast Network. I just had Christian Izzian on last week. I've had guests on there so far, JTS, Yaya Diaby, Coach Canales, and plenty more coming throughout the season. And every week we have someone come on, too, from the opposing team, kind of give us their scouting report. So you get a little more information on what the Bucks are facing from someone who's covering them on the day-to-day. So definitely check all that stuff out. And
what's your props this week? I haven't got your prop bets this week.
It's tough being in Florida, man. I don't have –
Not for me.
I don't have the VPN to download something to – I got to get myself one of those VPNs.
Y'all need a free $500 in your account. When you sign up for $500, just email me, jp@thejppetersonshow.com.
Well,
I got you covered.
There you go.
So if you need a way to take care of that, we got that for you. No problem.
Yeah. Find me someone who can set up a cheap VPN for me.
I got you. Send you a little link.
We don't condone gambling here in Florida.
Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. 100%. Completely legal. Despite what they tell you, it's completely legal.
All right.
Yes. All right, partner. Good to hear from you. Thanks for coming on. We'll check in with you next week.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Come on down to the patio next week.
Yeah.
Right,
I might have to make it out there. It's tough with the kiddos and everything. This is like right in between, bedtime routine, homework, all that fun
it's
stuff.
work. Tell the it's work.
Right. That should go over well.
That's how we do this. All right.
I'm going to the bar to do Peter knows every time I came to the
That's
deck.
work for me either, to be quite honest. Okay, I'm lying, but you got to make it happen. Thanks, partner. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Later.
JC
Good
Allen
stuff.
there. Yeah, I love JC because he does a lot of film work, does a lot of analytics work.
Yeah.
Knows what he's talking about, and it's just what's fun about football. It's second guessing the coaches and the personnel and all this stuff. That's what's beautiful about football. That's what we do it.
That's it.
That's what we do here.
He started out in remotes.
Nothing personal.
Yeah.
Nothing personal. Just
Yeah.
talking ball.
He used to bring the wife and the kids.
That's right.
Yeah. I used to take care of him, get them on camera, everything else.
It was just talking ball.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break at some point.
We do. Wow.
Let's take a break. When we come back, Sal Palantonio from ESPN will join us, and we'll get his take on last week's game that he was at, his sit-down with Baker Mayfield, and where the Bucs are headed. We're live from the patio, 421 South MacDill. Come on down and join us. We're presented by White Claw, $4 White Claw seltzers, $4 White Claw vodkas. Come on down and join us. Great staff here. We got a great vibe going on. Come on down to 421 South MacDill. Stay with us. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement cost, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
Go back to the patio here on this happy hour. We're going to be doing this every Friday, except I believe next week we'll probably be doing it Thursday night.
That would be interesting because seeing as it's a Buffalo Bills bar and the
Bills Mafia hangs out here.
Yeah, it's going to be quite packed that night.
What do we have next Thursday? Bills Bucks.
Bills Bucks, baby.
Amazon Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
So if you don't have your Amazon Prime, you can't watch the game. Where are you watching it? Down here at the patio with us.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Come on down.
Yeah.
Great place to watch. This is a great time of year, too, to be out here at the patio, too, because you got the beautiful outdoors. We got the palm trees, beautiful decks out here. They got putting in the new sound system.
Doing
some
all
remodel going on.
all
right now.
remodeling, all getting painted up and everything like that. And then on top of it, the weather is beautiful right
Oh, it's
now.
so nice.
Can it stay like this forever, JP?
Who wants to be inside?
I don't want to be inside. I like it out here. Let's stay out for a couple more hours.
Yeah. All right. Before we go to South Pound, all right, let's go to our great commenters and hit up some of these comments here. I'm with Jeremy Lowe on this. Excited for Canty on Sunday. I think this by the end of the year we're going to be loving this duo of Vita Vea. Which, by the way, Bowles did say today that Vita Vea has a pretty good chance of playing. Pretty good chance of playing. So
foot injury, so hopefully it's not anything detrimental because you need him. You're definitely going to need him. That running defense against Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
And Tyler Algier, who they forgot about.
Are you excited about Florida State versus Duke, JP, says Jeremy? Are you kidding me? Yeah, we talked to our good friend Pat Burnham this morning from the Osceola Rivals Network. Really, yeah, go ahead. Give him a little bit. The skater bar. I don't know. They may not like that here.
That's all right.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, this is the home of the Tampa Gator Club, so they're off this week. So get your ass over here Saturday night to watch Florida State and Duke.
There you go.
Yeah, great place.
A team that's
Kidding
undefeated in the state of Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
Duke has never defeated Florida State. 21-0, FSU is. But this is a different Duke team, like we talked about this morning on the show. This defense has given up, I think, 10 points a game. They gave Clemson fits. Notre Dame, they're a good football team now. Riley Leonard, their fine quarterback who can run like Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a high ankle sprain since that Notre Dame game. I don't think he's going to play. They said there's a chance, but our intel is telling us that he's not going to play.
Well, you've got the intel. You would know better than anybody else.
That means Beeline, their backup quarterback, who has never, I don't think he's ever even played on a road. Never experienced a crowd like he's going to experience on Seminole Saturday night. Joe Campbell Stadium.
Love it.
It's going to be packed to the gills, 80,000. Flaming Spear goes down, 7:30, ABC, under the lights, lubed up crowd. That's going to be epic.
You got to hit me up there sometime. I've never been up there.
Yeah, you got to go. We're going to get you maybe for the Miami game.
I'm there.
Maybe for the Miami game.
All this equipment will be brought with me, just like we do at Raymond James Stadium on Sunday. So the postgame show, we'll have a Florida State postgame show. Let's do it.
This is an interesting comment from Buck's Basement.
Okay.
Instead of wasting our time with drafting bad running backs in the first round, I don't think we've done that.
You don't think you've ever done that?
Why doesn't Light go the suck-up route?
In fact, if you did that,
running back on a good deal next season, and that will be the starter.
If you did that, you would have Dalvin Cook instead of the greatness of O.J. Howard.
I begged you to draft Dalvin Cook. I begged you, and you forsake me.
Yep. And
you might be able to get Dalvin Cook right now.
What do you give up for him?
4th rounder.
I agree.
Most.
I agree. It's a big dog too. You're right.
I told you it's a horse.
It looks like a horse. That's a dog. Can we get that dog on camera?
That's a small pony. You never know what you're going to see at the patio or who you're going to see.
I'm telling you.
There were celebs galore here earlier.
Oh, there were. We're
not allowed to say who it was.
We had a specific camera shot that was going to be a lot better than this, which is not bad. But because of those celebrities, and this is like at 3:40, and you're calling me on the phone, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then got told something else. So we had to reset up all over again because of the celebrities here in Tampa.
You never know who you're going to run into at the patio.
Yeah.
Listen, Jason Light, for all his wonderful moves that he's made, I think he's done a great job. Like, you could nitpick any general manager.
Sure.
It's results, all right? 2 straight division titles, a Super Bowl.
Again, I'm going to go back to this. He does not get enough credit. You have Vita Vea. You have Carlton Davis. You have Jamel Dean. You have Devin White.
Don't we have more players,
Antoine Winfield Jr.,
starting games?
Since 2014.
Yeah. I mean,
more players in the National Football League. Say whatever you want to. That statistic is out there.
People want to bang on JTS.
Right.
Fair criticism. Logan Hall. has not splashed. Has not splashed. Some of these higher draft picks have not been great.
Right.
But Gedeke, we were counting him as kind of a bust. But now he's moved back to his natural position. Looks great. Playing fantastic football.
Speaking of the offensive line,
football.
Ali Marpet, you had Alex Kappa.
That was a surprise.
Right. I mean, you had those guys there. I mean, look at what he did in free agency with getting JPP, with getting Shaq Barrett for what? Nothing for the first year. I mean, people, you guys forget. You really do. You got some
selective memory.
Yeah, selective memory loss.
Hey, you're not going to hit on all of them, but a lot of these guys he's taken in the last 2-3 years have got to be better. They've got to play better.
I agree.
And the guys that are making a lot of money need to play better. All right, let's check in with Sal Paolantonio. We had him on earlier in the week. Sal Pal did a sit down with Baker last week before the Lions game, and we chatted a little bit about that and where he thinks the league is going and where the Bucs are going. Here we go.
Friend, NFL senior reporter on ESPN, the iconic Sal Paolantonio. What's up, Sal Pal? How are you?
Oh, I don't know about all that. I'm just glad to join you this morning on a week 6 Monday going into week 7 of the NFL. I've always said, JP, and I know you and I have talked about this in the past, week 6 is diabolical, because it really marks the 2-month portion of where these teams are. You go through preseason and you go through the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and it starts to pile up. The wear and tear on your body starts to pile up. That's why coaches love that bye coming in late October, early November to get yourself healed. And you just see players getting injured all over the place. It's a war of attrition out there. It really is.
Yeah, and I know the Bucs are concerned about Baker, his left wrist, his left hand. He came out. He was getting X-rays before he came into the press room. I saw him in the hallway, and they were very concerned about that. So I don't know where that's headed, but it's his non-throwing hand. But still, if there's and he said X-rays were negative, but we'll see where that goes. Well, just, Sal Pal, your thoughts on the game yesterday. I mean, to me, we try to overall analyze these things so much. Sometimes it just comes down to football players making plays, right? And the Lions did it, and the Bucs did not in the crucial situations.
Right. Let's talk little picture, big picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the big picture is this. The Bucs are atop the division, but they've lost to 2 of the best teams in the conference in Detroit and Philadelphia. And the reason is because of the underperformance of the offense. That's the bottom line. You can't score 18 points a game. That's why Tom Brady retired. That's why Byron left, which is no longer in Tampa.
Yep.
So they have a new offensive coordinator and a new quarterback. And they have decided as a team really not to put a lot into their running game. And that's a mistake. I think they need to figure out how to play a little bit more small ball and run the football and stick with the run. They had such a disparity yesterday in run pass that you're gonna just force the defense to tee off on your quarterback. Baker's quote is incredible. They hit my hand a couple of times. It was an annoying pass rush. They wouldn't get any sacks, but they just hit home and let their presence be known. So they did a really good job. So let's look at little picture. I think Dave Canales, I looked at the offense. I did not look at the Bucs defense. I looked at the offense, and I looked at the offense on third down. It's not a very creative third down offense, JP. In fact, it's quite vanilla. They need to do more motion. They definitely need to do a rolling pocket. When Stefanski was successful with Baker Mayfield, he was moving out of the pocket. Because he's not big in stature, he needs to have clear passing lanes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more play action, boot action, roll him out of the pocket. He's so good when he's on the move. And he was just a statue back there, and they were in his face. So, I think it's totally fixable. Totally. Baker's a tough guy. You'll have to see about the gash he has on his hand.
Yeah.
But, because that can affect it affected his touch and accuracy yesterday. Everybody always says you throw with your arm, but your accuracy comes from your hands.
Yeah.
And if your hands are damaged in any way, with your thumb or your fingers, it really impacts on your accuracy.
Yeah, and I think I don't know when he injured. Like I think it's his pointer finger on his right hand that got ripped a little bit, but I'm not sure when that happened. I don't know if that was late or early, but those deep balls that he's been hitting this year, he didn't hit. And I would agree with you. And yesterday seemed to be a bit of an anomaly because most of the season they have been moving him around, but yesterday they did not for whatever reason. And here's the thing about the run game. I was going through some of the tape this morning, and they're just getting no push up front. I mean, just zero push, and there doesn't seem to be any scheme to the run game. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what are they trying to accomplish here? Who are they picking on? Like, what is their scheme here? And it just that I saw nothing in at least the first half that showed me, and they got no push. So it's like 16 carries, I think about 1.9 a carry. It's a waste of time almost. What do you do when you just can't move people?
Yeah, 16 carries, 49 yards, 46 yards, 2.9 a carry. The longest run was 8 yards, JP.
Yeah,
so you're right. I mean, and 2 of those 16 carries were Baker.
Yeah.
So, they need to refocus, recommit. They've already had their bye, right? So
yeah,
they should have spent the bye really working on creating balance on offense. You can't have your quarterback dropping back 37 times and you're running the ball only 16 times. But if you're going to do that, you need to have Baker outside the pocket.
Yeah,
he's no good inside the pocket.
No question.
I mean, he's not no good. He's much better outside the pocket.
He's much better.
I believe in Baker Mayfield. I think, they played a team, the Detroit Lions, that only scored 20 points. Listen, I know that the Bucs gave up some big plays defensively, but the bottom line is they're a top 10 team in points allowed.
Yep.
They're under 20 points a game. I think it's 18.5 now, 18.7.
Yeah. Defense
I'm looking at it right now, 18.7.
Yep.
And you gave up 20 points at home. You give up 20 points at home. That's less than 3 touchdowns. You got to win the ball game, KP. I'm sorry. You can't be shut out in the first and fourth quarters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awful. And I want to dig in a little bit on Baker because you sat down with him. Great feature, by the way. We put it up on all our socials. Tremendous feature, kind of getting into what motivates him, where he's at right now in his life and career. What was your big takeaway from sitting down with Baker? What sense did you get?
I'm sorry they ran that feature. It's always like a kiss of death, right? You're right. I really like Baker, and I wish him a lot of success.
Yeah.
He's got moxie. The fact that he was the only 2-time Burlsworth Trophy winner in FBS history, walking
I love
on
that.
2 schools, that just shows you what kind of resilience and toughness he has. And I've always thought he got a bad rap. I've always liked him. I've met him a couple of times and really appreciate his moxie and approach. But there are certain things about Baker that, he's brutally honest, but, you have to give him some help. And maybe sometimes he doesn't accept it or reach out for help. And I'm talking about not, help. I'm talking about around the football team, there needs to be a plan.
Right.
To help Baker Mayfield. He's not Joe Montana or Troy Aikman, but even Bill Walsh and Jimmy Johnson helped those 2 quarterbacks with Emmett and the tight end and Michael Irvin. And Joe Montana, of course, had a great system with Bill Walsh. You've got to help a guy. The quarterback, Ron Jaworski, told me many, many years ago when he first put me on the NFL matchup show, quarterback is the most dependent position in all of sports. And let me repeat that. Quarterback is the most dependent position in all of sports. It's really worth repeating. You got to have good protection. You got to have good playmakers. You got to have a good plan.
And what's weird about that is, don't we all focus on the quarterback as the savior? it's the most dependent position, but we act like it's the position that can independently drive any team. And that's just not the case. You've got to have a roster. And if I'm completely honest right now, I think where the Bucs really missed in this running game was going out and getting a running back. I think I thought Rachaad White was going to have a big year this year. I just don't see the vision. I don't see the intensity. And you covered some of the greatest backs to ever play this game, Sal Pal. That's these guys, the great ones, can run behind almost any line because they have great vision. They have great feel for the game. They have great, obviously, physical skills. I just don't see that from any of the Buccaneer running backs. Your thoughts?
And where is it in the NFL? Anywhere. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a good running back who runs hard, who has great vision, is hard to find. It really is. And one that can sustain that over a season. It's just difficult to find it. I mean, all the ones that we've seen in the last couple of years, Jacobs and Saquon and Derrick Henry, Miles Sanders, whoever, they run out of steam pretty fast.
Yep.
So you got to have a group. The Eagles, proved that in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid proves it all the time. You got to have a group of guys.
Yeah, with some different skill sets, because that's definitely not a part of the problem what the Bucs are having right now. Sal Powell, this overall though, when you say big picture for this team, you look at the fact that they win next week and they beat Atlanta. You get another divisional win. You're 4-2 and probably 2 games clear of anybody else. So as bad as you feel on this Monday with a team that, we all expected to be better than I think most of the experts, but the goal here is to win the NFC South. You get to 4-2 next week. And by the way, Desmond Ridder was horrendous yesterday with a capital horrend. He was bad. So this is a great opportunity for the Bucs to get to 4-2, and then you're fine, right? You're in great spot.
Well, you are. You've had a quality win at New Orleans.
Right.
And if you can beat the Falcons, Buffalo is beatable.
Yeah.
But it's a short week.
Yeah.
And you got to go to Buffalo. Hard to do. Super hard. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the game to me is after the Thursday game and you get the mini bye.
Yeah.
Is at Houston. That to me is the pivotal game. Because if you can win that game, you'll beat Tennessee at home. You'll lose to San Francisco. Then you can beat Indy, Carolina, and Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still have New Orleans and Carolina on the back end. You can get yourself 10-11 wins.
Yes, no question. So
you can get yourself to 10-11 wins, and you can win the division. So to me, you got to take care of business, no question, against Atlanta. No question. But to me, the pivotal game, the game that will decide, in my view, whether they win the division or not, or whether we have something going in Tampa, is November 5th at Houston.
A great point.
That's the game for me.
And on the flip side of this, how much of this you think is just, Detroit? I think we all thought they were a good team, coming to this season. Maybe there were some questions if it was fool's gold, the winning streak last year. But, here they sit 5-1. I think they're undefeated on the road. They just take care of business. Just what has stood out? I mean, what's impressed you about that team and where they sit, you think, in the hierarchy around the NFC, at least right now?
Jared Goff. Jared Goff has a live arm. He's very accurate. He's not rattled. He loses his top running back and he still finds a way to win. That to me is very impressive. Really is. So I like Jared Goff. I always have. He's already taken one team to a Super Bowl in the Rams losing to the Pats. He's a playoff caliber quarterback, and that to me is the difference. So it's the difference. First you have to look right at your division. He's the difference in that division. Is he better than Justin Fields? Absolutely. Is he better than the developing Jordan Love? Absolutely. Is he better than the declining Kirk Cousins? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at that and you say, all right, well, the Lions at 5 wins. Man, wow. They could easily win 12, 13 games. because when you look at how things line up for them. So they're at Baltimore, right? And then they're on Monday Night Football with Las Vegas coming in. And then they got the Chargers, Bears, Packers, at New Orleans, at Chicago. They still have Chicago twice, and they still have Minnesota. Wow. So, and their road games are not that tough. Chargers are not tough at big time tough. They can beat Baltimore because I think Goff is better than Lamar Jackson. And their road games are at Minnesota, at Chicago, at New Orleans, at the Chargers. You could see them winning 3 out of 4 of those road games before they have to play Dallas.
And shout out to Brad Holmes, a Tampa native, Chamberlain High's finest, the GM of the Lions. He's done a hell of a job. I rolled the dice getting rid of Matthew Stafford, but got a lot in return and has set the Lions up for a Super Bowl run. So he's done I don't know if you've had any time to chat with Brad Holmes at all, but he's done a hell of a job with Detroit. I got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, it's always painful when you have to reset like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have, you got to have a steely stomach for that kind of stuff. Oof. Where you're going to get hammered.
Yep.
And Dan Campbell was rough around the edges at the beginning, but now they're in a position where, man, if they just take care of business at home and win on the road in their division, they're going to win 12 games.
Sal Pal, I know you got to get out of here. Appreciate your time. Any other observations from this week where both of our undefeated teams go down? My 72 Miami Dolphins will preserve again. But I mean, what a crazy league. I don't think anybody scored more than 26 points yesterday. There's a lot of bad football out there, but here we are. And it's anybody's game. I don't see any dominant teams out there. 49ers, probably.
The course correction happens usually in week 6 and 7 because now players have been on the football field for 2 months.
Yep. And
when you're on the football field and you're in a car wreck every Sunday, it takes a toll, and injuries really start to crop up on your key players. I've always said this: watch weeks 6 and 7; those are the pivotal weeks where players have now been on the field for 60 days. And hitting one another. And it's who can sustain it through depth, through size and speed, through scheme, practice habits. Nick Sirianni said to me, JP, in the summer, he said his analytics department looked at all the reasons why the Super Bowl losers don't get back to the Super Bowl. It's been 1 in 28 years.
Yeah.
And the 2 factors were, number 1, fall off in offensive production. That certainly happened with Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, injuries. Remember, they had all 22 starters healthy going into Super Bowl 57. Yesterday, when the game ended, they were missing 8 starters of the 22.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of attrition in a league where it's hard to keep depth. And this is where the great coaches shine, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, Lane Johnson, who hadn't given up a sack since November of 2020. Jalen Carter, Rookie of the Year on defense. Darius Slay, Pro Bowl corner. Reed Blankenship, your number 1 tackler at safety. Your starting right guard. So Cam Jurgens, your starting right guard, is out, and Lane Johnson, your starting right tackle, is out.
Totally different football team.
The best inside cover corner in the league, in my view, Avante Maddox, gone for the year with a triceps injury. Your number 3 wide receiver, Quez Watkins, and one of your starting safety, Justin Evans. 8 starters. 8. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah. And I think the Lane Johnson loss was the biggest injury of week 6. Now, get this, JP. If you're talking about the NFC and where things will come back, since 2013, including the playoffs, the Eagles are 90-52 with Lane Johnson in the starting lineup. That's a .633 winning percentage. In the 36 games without Johnson, the Eagles' winning percentage drops to .361. They're 13-23.
No way.
Well, I'm looking at it. I just got it from Evan Kaplan, the head of the ESPN Stats and Information NFL department. I emailed him this morning. He's actually a Monday Night Football out in Los Angeles. He's up early. I mean, it's without a doubt, it's the biggest, other than quarterback, it's the biggest disparity for an injured player. Wins and losses depending on availability.
That's insane. Maybe the left tackle is the most important. Maybe we've overvalued the quarterback all this time. Maybe it's that.
Well, yeah,
guy.
Lane Johnson's going to the Pro Bowl. He's going to the Hall of Fame. But there's the difference.
Wow. Yep. And which coaches?
Thanks for having me on the show, JP.
You're the
Hopefully
best,
I'm
Sal,
down
pal.
there soon, and you guys are great. Thanks for having me. Good show.
Welcome back to
Great
the JP.
Sal pal,
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Lane plays right tackle. You know that.
Yeah.
I said left hand. But isn't that interesting? That number is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it just goes to underscore how important offensive lines are in this league. I'll tell you a real quick better's delight. If you see 2 or more starters out on an offensive line in a week, that line is out of whack.
Toast.
Line's out of whack. I don't know which way to go, but the line's out of whack. That whatever that team's been doing, especially obviously offensively, for those weeks, and they have 2 starters or more out on the offensive line, it's going to be a disaster. A disaster, more likely than not. So, and I think the Falcons may be down on offensive linemen. No, I don't think they had anybody on their injury report.
No, not many injuries this week besides Vita Vea, and somebody was asking about that. I think Eric Moreno asked.
Vita Vea's Bowles was kind of wishy-washy about that today. Basically, he's been getting better every day. He may or may not play. We don't know, but I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
Foot injury for Vita Vea. I think he's going to play.
Go out to Milo here, and then we'll take a break. Pro Football Focus had tight ends and wide receivers rated really low after last week's game, but Cody was rated the worst on the team last week at 38.6 grade.
It's bad. Ugh. With all due respect to my friend J.C. Allen, Aaron Stinney's going to be better than 38.6.
Yeah. I think you could be better than 38.6.
No.
Get in there, big guy. You got it. You got it.
To me, it's a little weird that, offensive lines is like a sacred cow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, has to be an injury to take somebody out of the game. Just in NFL in general, not often are guys just demoted. You're playing like I don't know how you can look at the film and say Ryan Neal's doing a good job, better than Dee Delaney. No, I don't know. I don't know how you can look at the tape and say that we don't have anybody that could be better than Filer or Cody Mount. I mean, I don't know. I know you want to develop players. I get that, especially young players. If there's going to be growing pains, I get that, but I don't know. It's a week-to-week league. You need to get the running game going. It's stuck in the mud right now. Maybe you make some changes.
Why not?
But it's very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare.
All right.
All right, we'll take a break here. We're down at the patio. Come on down and join us. We got $4 White Claws.
Wow.
$4 seltzers, $4 White Claw vodkas. So, and we got free T-shirts here. If you want a T-shirt, we got all kinds of Rays T-shirts. That's a collector's item right there from the Pro Padel League. It's a nice T-shirt. We got all kinds of fun stuff. So get on down here to the patio. Best place to watch football all weekend long. The FSU Duke game. We're going to be talking about that next. Watch it right here. 7:30 tomorrow night on ABC. You got all kinds of great games starting at noon tomorrow. And then Sunday, of course, Bucks Falcons. If you're not going to the game, why wouldn't you be here at the patio with this great weather, this great outdoor space? Are you kidding me?
And then tune in to the post-game show.
Post-game show.
Yeah.
We're going to be at Raymond James Stadium, right on all these outlets right here. Quick break. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Well, Fitz, the mortgage guy, did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz, the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sport.
Collector's items here,
Yeah.
much like your watch.
Yeah. Yes.
What is that? What are you wearing there, by the way?
That is a Rolex watch right there.
Wow.
Given to me by Jake Paul.
Wow.
That's why I call myself the Rolex reporter, or they call me the Rolex reporter. Yes, with the signed box from Jake. We were talking about this off air, kind of contemplating what we're going to do, if we're going to do anything or if we're going to do something.
Sell
high.
Sell high.
Sell very high, because there's a lot of Jake Paul fans out there.
There are.
So.
Why you still can.
Right. I agree.
Before the world goes to hell.
I hope not. I honestly hope not.
Now.
Right.
I think we're too late for that. All right, a couple other things we want to get to. First of all, the Florida State-Duke game. Talked to Pat Burnham this morning on the morning show at the Osceola, and his intel tells him that Riley Leonard, their fine quarterback, is not going to play. He's had a high ankle sprain that he got in the Notre Dame game, so looks like he's not going to play. Florida State loved last week's game, best all-around game they've played all year. Their defense is starting to get better. Their defensive metrics, I couldn't believe it when I looked it up, are really good. Their third down defense, their red zone defense has been really good.
Wow.
But it just like from the eye test, at times it's been bad. but they're starting to clamp down on the quarterback run, which was their nemesis against Boston College. And so now you got Duke coming in with a very inexperienced quarterback, which I think Beeline's going to play if Riley Leonard doesn't play. It's a night game. It's going to be oppressive. They're getting some of their offensive linemen back.
Johnny Wilson's
coming back.
That's a big part of your
Coleman
offense.
was just a freaking beast.
He's had a come-out party against
Syracuse.
Yeah.
Sports Center showing highlights of Ryan Neal getting beat time and time again.
Oh, you got to love that. Love that. I'm just amazed by that dog out there. How big is that dog?
That's a horse. That's a I think they call that a mastiff.
I'm telling you now, I have a dog. He's a Catahoula, Louisiana hunting dog. And the other day we encountered a dog that big or bigger. He did not back down. Like, he got pissed off. He attacked the dog. I'm like, what are you doing?
Him.
Yeah. Like, the dog was looking at him weirdly. Like, he looked like a weird dog in the first place. Like, he's old, kind of like he didn't get a lot of sleep. My dog wasn't putting up with it. He's 72 pounds. He can hold his own, and they went after each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that.
No, definitely don't do that next time.
Yeah,
That's probably why my back is so stiff at this point, trying to hold him back.
But getting back to Duke, Florida State.
Yes.
Florida State's getting some guys back on the offensive line, Maurice Smith, Bless Harris. So they should be almost at full health.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see them get the running game going against a team it's been kind of tough to run against. So we'll see. This is going to be a test for Florida State, but they not only they need to win with some style points.
Yes.
They need to win with some style points. Is that we're coming down the stretch here. There may be a lot of undefeated teams. And FSU, I'm not saying they're running the table. They may have one loss at some point when it becomes playoff time.
Where's the one loss coming from? Is it Miami? I don't think so.
Well, first of all, against Duke. I mean, Duke, I think the number's 14.5. I would take Duke into 14.5. But, it could happen. They could lose. Their defense has been a little bit loose, but losing at home, if Beeline plays, the only way I see Duke winning is if Riley Leonard does play, and I still don't think he's going to play. And how effective is he going to be with a high ankle sprain? Can he really run? I mean, if you're FSU, you got to make sure that if he runs early in the game, that he's paying for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he won't be running in the fourth quarter.
That's what you do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you send a message real quick. You hit him a couple times, especially when he's a runner, and I guarantee you he won't try to run out of the pocket again. But you look at the schedule, how it breaks down. I mean, you've got Miami, and then what? I mean,
then they
Florida.
go on the road. Then they go on the road to Wake Forest.
Yeah.
On the road at Pitt. I mean,
winnable games.
Yeah, like stompable games.
Like,
and then you come home
yeah.
November 11th against Miami, and Miami, look, they completely capitulated to North Carolina in the second half.
I got to do it.
They did.
That's Miami right there.
That was their second half. That's
yes.
exactly what it sounded like.
Right.
Which is so on brand for Miami, just quitting. I was doing a show in Atlanta today with my good friend John Michaels, who's a UM graduate. I used to work with him on the Falcons radio network. And, we're talking about Bucks Falcons, and he jumps on, his turn to ask me a question. He's like, JP, tell me a little bit about, the Buck Bum. And I said, John, don't come at me without expressly admitting that your head coach is a complete effing moron.
Oh, yeah.
And he just laughed. He's like, I thought I could get him. I said, I ain't letting that slide by.
Just take a knee.
By the way, I think we should have the T-shirts out next week.
Okay.
You can't spell dumb without UM.
Without UM, I love it.
Like, I think we're gonna have those on the website available.
Can we wear those?
Oh,
on
absolutely!
Here?
Like,
we need to
for the
wear
entire
these
week.
out here. Okay,
the entire 2 weeks, maybe.
Entire 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think we should have them from our good friends at Smack Apparel. I think we're gonna get that done.
Love it.
So, yeah.
Got to get that guy on sometime too.
Especially if Miami beats Clemson this week and they get back into the rankings, which I'm not sure that's going to happen.
No.
So I think it's at Clemson, right? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully Miami can get it together, get back in the rankings, and make this a big game so I can sell some freaking T-shirts there.
I hope they don't make it a big game at all. I just want them to go away. Go away. Give up. Quit.
No.
Quit like he did. Quit like the defense. Quit.
If you're an FSU fan, you want Miami to get back in it. You want Florida to beat Georgia.
Because of strength of schedule.
Of schedule, yeah.
Right.
And when you got to play them anyway. So they might as well be highly ranked when you kick their ass.
Does Florida have any chance against Georgia?
they're 23-point underdogs, I think, at this point. Like 2 weeks out.
Right.
I think that's way too ambitious. Georgia's not that good, and Florida's getting better each and every week. Their offense, I think, especially last week with tight end Arliss. I love that name, Arliss Boardingham.
Wow.
He's made some big plays for them, big fourth down play for them this week. Pearsall's freaking unbelievable. And Graham Mertz on these fourth down plays, he's getting blitzed off the edge and in the middle. He's sliding out of the pocket, throwing the ball downfield compared to 4th and 11. I mean, those are big-time plays.
They compare
on the road in clutch situations.
Yeah, they compared his statistics to Jordan Travis, who you would think is a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yeah, he's been better.
Yeah. Which is crazy in itself, the start that they had.
They were killing Graham Mertz after week 1 the loss at Utah. And I was like, no, chill.
Right.
Gator, I'm having to tell Gator fans to chill, not fire your coach and not fire your quarterback. Just relax. And now you sit 5-2 with a week off before Georgia, who just lost Brock Bowers. You gotta like where you're at. Right now.
It's true.
And some winnable games. I mean, the SEC is just not good this year.
They're not
that good.
Alabama's not that good. Georgia's had their problems. I still have I have more questions about Alabama than I have about Georgia. Georgia's really talented on both sides of the ball. The biggest question with both of those teams that they have in common is quarterback. Milroe for Alabama, quarterback for Georgia. Have they solved it?
I think they know what Milroe can do.
Right.
And, and now they're I think Saban wanted to experiment a little bit against USF and see, if these other guys got anything, and he quickly found out they got nothing.
So disrespectful, by the way. What's more disrespectful? Nick Saban with his quarterback experiment or Tom Herman with the onside kick?
It's a lot. You're USF, you're dealing with a lot right now. You're dealing with a lot
Please beat UConn this week.
On the road. Maybe they're better on the road. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Well, they got boat race last week at home, so it can't be any worse, can it?
No. Maybe. I don't know. But, we'll see. Big weekend of college football. We got Ohio State and Penn State as well. So we shall see.
We shall see.
All we know is this is the place to watch the games.
Yes.
At the patio. Come on down. All weekend long. Drink specials. Outdoors. Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Bucks on Sunday. Come on down. Not like these stuffy inside sports bars. They're going to charge you because we got TVs everywhere. Great sound system.
Yeah.
Tremendous staff.
Redoing everything. And there's the Lions fan right there.
Yeah.
I seen him right there. Big guy. He was talking about the Lions. Yes. We see you over there.
Great chicken wings, by the way.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my God. Thank you for the chicken wings. Hopefully you're buying tonight.
Good.
And by the way, if you're a Lightning fan, which we'll get into in a moment, collect your 5 chicken nuggets because every time the Lightning win, the day after you go to Chick-fil-A, you get 5 chicken nuggets. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
There you go. Right there. Thank you, Ed McMahon or Johnny Carson.
I did not know that.
Thank you, Johnny Carson. Appreciate it.
All right, quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into a little bit of Tampa Bay Lightning. Big win last night. I was there at Amalie Arena to watch it. Did the post-game show with Brian Engblom. I want to impart some of his wisdom to all of our great listeners. When we come back here, come on down and join us at the patio here, 421 South MacDill. Beautiful place. Happy hours going on. $1 off beer and wine of the already very low prices here. And we got $4 White Claws, $4 White Claw seltzers. Come on down at the patio.
Old coins sitting around the house? Well, the Golden Diamond Source will purchase a variety of different types of coins and bullion. Their gold buying program includes sterling silver, silver, platinum, and watches. They also accept unusual pieces that other jewelry stores do not, such as gold bars and sterling silver flatware. The list of items they do accept is far more extensive than those they don't, so check it out. While you're there, you can check out the largest collection of any family-owned jewelry store in the country, especially with summer coming to an end. The holidays are right around the corner. Never too early to start your holiday shopping, especially if you're planning on getting engaged or have any birthdays or anniversaries coming up. Come on in and find out what buying jewelry should be like with an expert staff of gold and diamond jewelry enthusiasts. And the best part, they treat you like family. And if you're worrying about price, don't. The Gold and Diamond Source has something for everyone's budget. They even have a layaway. If you stop in and get your favorite piece now, you can have it paid off by Christmas. Plus, you can even finance your purchase with 0% interest for up to 5 years, and you can get a $5,000 diamond for only $83 a month. It's the greatest folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub, the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the patio here. We have a great crowd hanging out here.
Love it.
At the happy hour, always the best happy hour in town.
Can I fire the air horn? I got to do it. I mean, are they awake? Yeah, there you go. Right there. Yes.
Free T-shirts. Come on over.
Was he saying hi or was he giving us another salute there?
He was giving us another. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so come on down to the patio all weekend long. We got drink specials going on. Best place to watch football in South Tampa. Come on down, 421 South MacDill. Beautiful place out there. All right, so the Lightning get a 4-3 win last night against the Vancouver Canucks. Great game for Nikita Kucherov, a couple of goals. But Nick Paul, I'm a big fan of Nicholas Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Jolly old St. Nick. He is the man. I was talking to Anderchuk last night, sitting on the set there with my good friend Paul Kennedy and Dave Anderchuk and Valley Sports Sun. And I'm like, hey,
listen
Paul.
to you dropping names, by the way.
Names.
Just dropping names, my friend.
I'm like, hey, Paul, don't you think that number 20 out there looks like a young Dave Anderchuk sitting in front of that net, powering in power play goals right and left? He's like, you know what? I think you're right. He's been so good in front of that net, replacing Alex Killorn in that spot. He's more physical than Alex Killorn. He's got better, dare I say this.
He's younger. Christmas came early for the Lightning, by the way, with getting him. How in the world did Ottawa let him go in the first place? I will never
skills,
know.
Bro.
He does.
He grabs that
puck. What are they doing over
and
there?
Just goes to the corner and just bitch slaps a couple of Canucks, drops them, then skates back in. And you'll hear him discuss this on how he – one of the best, recounts of a goal that I've heard in quite some time.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple of options and then passes it to Cooch, who roofs it. Another power play goal. Their power play at home has been tremendous. I just love Nicky Paul on this power play. He's been fantastic. And they get the goal from Acimont last night off the boards. A wicked Rista.
Love it.
That was fantastic. His first goal. I mean, you get Acimont going, all these lines going. They need a little bit more secondary scoring, but it's very early on in the season. I said it before. I'll say it again. This team at the end of the year is going to be better than last year's team at the end of the year. And that will give them a shot to do something in the playoffs.
And besides the second period, because you get 2 quick goals by Vancouver, you have to be pretty happy with the effort. Yeah, and then Stamkos coming back to that power play definitely energized them, something different. And Kucherov, he needs to play like that. That's where you need to see Kucherov play. He doesn't need to try to distribute the puck. He needs to take control. And like you were saying this morning on the morning show, 50 goals is definitely possible when he's playing like that.
I'm calling it.
Call it.
I think that he's shooting from areas we have not seen him shoot from.
Yeah.
And, Brian Engbaum last night, who I do the postgame show with. So come on down, by the way, if you're at a Lightning game, right across Thunder Alley, Cigar City. We're sitting there doing a postgame show. Come have a beer with us.
Who's tremendous, by the way.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And that postgame show gives him time to, like, really embellish on some things.
Yeah.
That he doesn't get to do in, like, a 7-second clip during, the TV broadcast. And he was talking about Kucherov and how he's different in the way that he shoots. He's not like with his shoulder forward, shoulder pointing with a slap shot. He kind of like faces up, shoulders parallel to the goalie.
Yeah.
And then he carries the puck behind him on that with that big curve of his toe, and kind of like a cesta, as we were talking about. You know a high-rise cesta, right?
Yes.
And he kind of hides it behind his left foot. So goalies can't really tell where he's going with the puck. His hips don't give it away. And
hips don't lie?
Hips don't lie. And that's, when you're looking at a guy shoot, if he opens up his hip, he's going, one way. If you can, goalies can read this stuff. But with Kucherov, he hides it like a pitcher that hides a fastball behind him. And you don't know where he's going until that last minute. It's a lethal shot. And he's starting to take it further out. Last night, he great screen by Cirelli in front, and Demko, the goalie, had no chance. Didn't even see it till it went past his ear.
None.
I think he's being a little bit more aggressive this year and wants to see how many goals he can score. Let's,
why not
set a goal of 50?
Yeah.
He'll get there. I'm telling you.
And I'll give you an idea. Next time you're doing a show like that, maybe invite me out there with my equipment.
Yeah, come on down.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe you set that up.
Come on down.
Was it is it 102.5 The Bone?
102.5 The Bone post game, where you can find the Lightning's regular broadcast. Way better than that old station they were on. Oh my God, they could barely hear outside the city limits. Like, for God's sakes!
Yeah.
Now we got a
100,000 watts.
Oh my God, the Bone is just
Love
huge.
It. Love it.
Yeah. So now you can hear it and the post game show as you're driving home. You can listen to Greg Linnelli with the network post game show, and then myself and Brian Engbaum. And Engbaum's just fantastic. Really, really good. I've had a lot of compliments on the show that we have great chemistry, so check it out. And then you can listen to it the next day on 102.5.2, which is the HD station. Lock that in, by the way. If you're a Lightning fan or a sports fan, because pretty good chance you'll be hearing this show, the JP Peterson show on 102.5.2 HD soon. So lock it in, and you can listen on the radio to some great content, some great sports content on the radio now.
Well, and I got to do this because you just said that. There you go. That'll wake you up right there. I tell you what, let's go out to Nick Paul being interviewed by none other than the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty here on that goal.
Leo.
Yeah, on the JP Peterson show. Here we go.
Nick, take us through the fourth goal. Point makes some great stick work in the corner. You pick it up. Take it from there. What did you see?
Yeah, I just picked that puck out of the corner. I saw that guy kind of hit point roll off. And I knew I kind of had a 2-on-1 with the guy on my right. Whether he was going to slide backside to take Cooch and I was going to slip it to point, whether he was just going to play it bad and I take it myself, or I had Cooch backside. So I kind of took like a little C cut up towards that way on the ice, and then that D kind of read up toward like a half slide, like a knee down, and I saw Cooch, and then from there I just put it on a stick, and I know it's going upstairs.
All right, there you go. Good stuff by Leo and good stuff by Nick. Explanation on that, and you
Who's shooting
watch
that
it.
interview?
That was Leo doing the whole camera work and everything.
Wow. That was
like that was impressive.
That was nice.
Yeah, we got Essiman too.
Handsome man, by the way.
There you go.
Nick Paul, not me. Please be specific.
You want to go on to Mikey Essiman?
Yes.
All right, let's go on to him here again. Leo Haggerty of Amped Up Sports.
Looked like the team came out strong early. How important is that?
Yeah, I mean, good starts always help. It's mostly been our second period, so I think that we're ready to play. We come out ready to play, and it's just a matter of putting 3 periods together.
All right, so there you go.
What a goal by Essiman.
I'm telling you.
That's a big deal.
And by the way, how has he been on 3 other teams at this point? Was it 4 other teams? And the Lightning find these type of players. I will give credit to where credit is due. The Rays kind of do the same thing when it comes to pitchers and players that work. Lightning do the same damn thing. They get the most out of these guys that nobody really thinks anything much of.
I mentioned this to Brian last night. I'm like, you think this team can be better than last year's team going into the playoffs? That's my big take on this team. I just think it's faster, it's more skilled. Once you get Bassi back in the first 2 months of trying to play better defense in front, I think it just sets up really well for this Lightning. So hear me out.
Okay.
So you got a championship pedigree team with a core of guys that know how to win a Stanley Cup, which is by no means, just a given.
Right.
Like it's you think you can win a cup. There's a difference in knowing you can win a cup and what it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Like what level you have to play at. That's a big deal. So you've got, Cirelli, Hedman, Stamkos, Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Point, Sergachev, Chernak. I mean, there's still a great group of guys here that have their name etched on that cup.
Yeah.
Now you start throwing in a Maryland. Big kid, just learning how to play in this group, learning how to play in the United States. That guy's got some skills. Connor Sheary, love what he brings to the tip. Calvin DeHaan. The new players, they're faster, they're more skilled. They're, Austin Watson even, just brings a little bit of toughness. Jeannot, and getting better within
fighting last night.
Yeah, again,
you'll love that.
Mark Friedman, what the hell are you thinking?
What are you doing?
So I just think at the end, if this team continues to get better in this defensive system that they're implementing, play defense first, and then Vassie comes back, and then you're a rested team because you've had an actual full offseason. I'm just saying, watch out for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
Watch out for the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is still a great hockey team. Everybody's writing them off. So, okay. And we'll see. Saturday night, Toronto comes in tomorrow night.
Ugh.
7 o'clock, 7:30 puck drop. Anyway, somewhere in there.
And you'll be doing your thing on Lightning Vision.
Lightning Vision
which
thing,
you do a great job with.
I'll be
just
doing,
saying.
we'll be doing the post-game show with Brian Engblom again on 102.5 The Bone.
Wow.
So, it's just kind of one of those moments I think Cooper's going to, let's see how we play against this team. Let's see how much better we are. Now, again, it's going to take some time for all these guys to just kind of fold into what they're trying to do and become, part of the Lightning way, the way they play hockey. But I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun season. I think Johansson's played really, really well.
Yes.
And, we're missing Vassie, obviously, but to get an elite goaltender back in the second half of the season that's well rested, these guys having a full off season, I like where the Lightning's at.
Well, here's the scary thing about it, JP. You've got, Stamkos coming off an injury. You got Kucherov playing aggressive right now. You got Hagel. Who's the guy that's missing that eventually has the ability to score lots of goals that's not getting it right now? Braden Point. Yeah, I mean, you're doing all this without Braden Point. Eventually he's too talented to be shut out. Eventually he's going to light the lamp.
Yeah, 50 goals last year.
Oh, yeah.
I really believe that he can hit 50 again, and I think Cooch can do it as well.
Yeah.
And Stammer's still at top of his game. And he got back last night, made a difference. I think the power play's better. I think the penalty kill will be better. I think they're faster and more equipped on the penalty kill. And I think Cooper will bring this team together. I like it.
I do too.
All right. I got to hit this too. On we haven't talked about this week. your boy, Tom Brady,
Uh-huh.
had the audacity
With the comments.
I
talked about this the other night. It's a hypocritical for Mr. Brady.
To say, what did Brady say? Encapsulate this.
Well, in so many words, he feels like football has been flag football, and that eventually there's a possibility they could go helmetless. But by the way, he's taken advantage of it because how many penalties has he drawn, especially during that playoff appearance against Kansas City?
The Atlanta game last year.
Where you were very fortunate because Atlanta was looking like they were going to win that game besides the penalty, which gives them, for me, is that hypocritical. Although you look at the highlights, he did play in a tough era where he's trying to run out. And you have to look at the highlight, but Nate Clements of Ohio State, Michigan, absolutely wallops Brady. Brady just gets up.
Brady was one of the toughest mofos in the league.
Yes.
No question about it. And he would stand in there and take the hits. And stare right down the barrel and throw it when he had to do it. Not last year, mind you.
No, he didn't want to get hit last year. Distractions, divorce, I don't want to be hit.
But when he was great, that's what he did because he knew that's what he had to do.
Correct.
To be different, he had to do it. He was one of the toughest. You can go back and talk to Bart Scott and guys that played against him. They'd be like, I gave him my best shot. That son of a bitch got up. And he did time and time and time again. So we're not questioning Brady's toughness. But for this guy to start criticizing the NFL when they changed the rules because of you. They changed the rules that you can't hit a quarterback low because of you.
Yes.
You were the issue. Mm-hmm. And I think the NFL is just so starved for points that they feel like they'll give up contact on the quarterback because they don't want to see second string and third string quarterbacks out there. I get that. But, you're sacrificing what has made this league great, which is the physicality. Like we are. I guess we're an evolved species at this point. That could be debated, but it's still a gladiator sport,
right?
You go back to the Romans. We don't want anybody eaten by lions. Okay, we don't need that. We don't need anybody. We need human sacrifices, but there's got to be a level of toughness to make this an entertaining sport. You guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars. You ask the players; they hate these rules. They hate them. They know what the deal is. The only reason there was a lawsuit previous to this was because the NFL was hiding information. Now the players know exactly what they're up against. So if they want to go out there and risk their life and limb for millions of dollars, what the hell?
Yeah.
Let them go.
Yeah.
Let them sign waivers, for God's sakes. You're not going to get sued again, NFL. And if you're doing this because it's the pussification of America, it's like, oh, people won't watch our game if it's a brutal sport. My ass.
Of course they're going to watch it.
They'll watch it. In fact, that's what they want.
Exactly.
So stop, Roger Goodell, stop being such a wuss. And, let's go. Yeah. Let's get back to the physicalness of this game. Well, what about the safety of the players? They sign up for it. They don't care. They're good.
That's the reason why they make millions and millions of dollars in the first place. So
now, do we need to, take the using the helmet as a weapon? Let's try to get that out of the game. I'm not saying that's something that needs to happen. There have been some nice advances, but if you touch the quarterback, it's a roughing the penalty. If you hit a receiver over the middle, it's a penalty.
Defenseless wide receiver. Do you remember the 80s with Ronnie Lott? Do you remember the 90s with John Lynch knocking out his brother-in-law?
It's not exactly. It's not what I want to see. But guess what, guys? They figured it out.
Yeah.
The guys that wanted to make the money and go across the middle that weren't, great receivers, but they were tough mofos, they took the hits. Mm-hmm. And the guys that couldn't didn't.
Yeah.
Let it police itself, man. Let it police itself.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. I know this sounds draconian, but, that's the NFL I want to see.
And that's what he was talking about.
I don't
he
like
says
this pussified NFL.
Well, and again,
sorry, Tom.
Well, again, he was saying this is the reason why fans are so pissed off.
Yeah,
because
I would agree with
physicality is not in the game. I don't hold that against Tom Brady. I hold it against guys like Drew Brees.
Tom didn't ask them to make these rules.
Brees is the one that was, of course, Mr. whatever it was. What was it? A Bounty Gate at the time?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how there needs to be more rules for quarterbacks. Brady was a guy who said, hey, I'm going to take some hits. Throwback to Joe Montana, in my opinion.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, physicality needs to come back into this game, and it can be done legally. But as long as we have the leadership of this guy,
Yes.
Roger Goodell is now going to get a $70 million a year contract.
How do you like that?
$70 million. Who's worth $70 million a year? Nobody. Where could that money actually be going? To the players who are risking their life and limb.
Sure.
That's disgusting.
Or the players of yesteryear,
that's disgusting
which
that anybody makes $70 million a year.
Right.
That's disgusting.
Well,
you should be ashamed of that.
He works for the owners. You take care of the previous players with Medicare because they didn't make as much. That's what people don't understand. Those previous players, they paved the way for guys right now making the type of money they're
Take
making.
$50 million of that and give it to the old players.
Why not?
Yeah, you got plenty of money.
And make sure it goes to them, not some damn foundation.
Yeah, it's a third party.
Right.
All right. We thank you guys for joining us here tonight here at the Patio. Come on down and join us all weekend long. This is the place to watch football on Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There's even Tuesday night college football.
Wow.
Come on down to watch the Lightning.
Yeah.
It's the best sports bar outside. Great drink prices, not these hoity-toity $15 for a cocktail. $4 White Claws, $4 White Claw vodkas during our show. Anytime. We'll be back. Pretty sure we're going to be on Thursday night next week for Bills and Bucks here at the Patio. So come on down all weekend long and join us for the party. Have a great weekend. Go Bucks. Go Bolts.
Post-game show
Go
live
Noles.
from Raymond James Stadium. Tune in, guys.
We'll do that as well. Have a great weekend.